So, Ali, first of all, Michael White has been detained for nearly 2 years now. What were the reasons that Iran gave for his detention?
According to the official narrative in Iran, he was there for espionage. He was spying on the Iranian government. As according to the American narrative, he was there to visit his girlfriend in Iran. Yet at the end, he stayed there. He was imprisoned for the last 2 years. And today, with several efforts being exerted by different parties, he was released. Today, the release of Michael White comes in parallel with the release of Asghari, as you said, and also Majid Taheri. It seems, according to the Iranian official narrative, the swap was between White and Majid Taheri, who is an Iranian physician who has been living in the United States for the last 33 years. He's an Iranian American. Yet the other scientist, who is Asghari, there was a normal procedure for his release because of coronavirus pandemic, according to the United States statement yesterday. So the whole thing now gets into a context that started around a year ago with the release, Iran's release of Nizar Zakka, who is a Lebanese with an American green card. And then later on, the release of Masoud Soleimani by the United States and Iran releasing Wang. And today we have this picture of Michael White arriving in Zurich, and also Majid Taheri and Asghari arriving in Tehran and meeting their families. By the way, according to sources in Tehran, Majid Taheri was released on bail. So since he's an American, he's supposed to go back to the States. But given the situation, it seems that this is just part of the procedure.
Right. And Ali, given the state of relations between the United States and Iran, you wouldn't think anything was possible right now. So how is it that all this is happening?
Well, at the beginning of this year, the escalation took us to the brink of the abyss, and everything was like at the brink of a war, and everything was going towards escalation. And there were many attempts to de-escalate. The attempts for de-escalation were led by several regional parties, besides the continuous attempts by European parties to try reach a kind of, not a deal, because there is no possibility for a deal right now, with the United States adding more sanctions than Iran, and Iran also escalating its own stances towards the United States. So what's happening today might be a context for the future. We are just few months away from a new American administration, or maybe President Trump will have another 4 years. The Iranians also are preparing for their next year presidential elections. And in general, if we go back in history, it's always whenever there are attempts for a deal or a consensus or a negotiations or whatever, talks, these happen in the last year. In the last year of Ahmadinejad, the Oman talks started between the administration and the U.S. administration and the Iranian government. And later on, with the new government in Iran, the deal was struck in Vienna in 2015. So this might be a kind of laying the foundation for the new situation, just in case there is a will for a deal, a will for a consensus, because at the end, both countries reached to the brink, as we said, after the assassination of Qasem Soleimani. Iranians also retaliated by hitting the American bases, yet everything stopped there, and both seemed that they do not want to go to a war.
All right, Ali, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much, Ali Hasham Faliusin. Thank you.